Teyana Taylor just snapped, and this time, it's not about a new track, a fashion line, or high-profile relationship drama. Something much darker has clawed its way to the surface, and it all exploded the moment Jaguar Wright opened her mouth. For years, Teyana Taylor was the industry's golden girl, a prodigy who seemed to fly just under the radar of the truly toxic headlines. But according to Jaguar Wright, Hollywood's most feared whistleblower, Teyana wasn't just an artist. She was a witness to things that would make the average person's blood run cold. We're talking about locked rooms, whispered rituals, and secret gatherings in Brentwood and Atlanta that no one was ever supposed to talk about. Jaguar claims Teyana knows exactly who walked into those rooms, and more importantly, who didn't come out the same. Now, with leaked audio tapes surfacing and cryptic messages about a mysterious Room 6 trending worldwide, Teyana's silence is being treated like a loaded weapon. Is she a victim of an industry cover-up, or is she the one holding the key to burning the whole house down? Stay tuned, because what we're about to unpack is the chilling story of an artist who saw too much and the machine that is desperate to keep her quiet. To understand why the internet is currently in a state of absolute meltdown, we have to look back at the career of Teyana Taylor, not as a pop star, but as a survivor. For over a decade, Teyana has been the industry's best-kept secret. She was a prodigy, discovered by Pharrell Williams, mentored by Kanye West, and respected by every legend in the game. But if you look closely at her trajectory, something never quite added up. She had the talent, the look, and the work ethic, yet her career often felt like it was being throttled by an invisible hand. Projects were delayed, music videos were scrapped, and she was frequently sidelined in favor of artists with half her ability. We all thought it was just standard label drama, the usual story of a black woman being undervalued in a corporate space. But then came Jaguar Wright. Jaguar Wright isn't your typical gossip blogger. She's the industry's self-appointed reckoning, a woman who has made it her life's mission to expose the underbelly of Hollywood's elite circles. When Jaguar mentions a name, the industry doesn't just listen, it trembles. She's already taken aim at the biggest titans of the industry, from Diddy to Jay-Z. But when she turned her sights toward Teyana Taylor, the energy shifted. Jaguar didn't come for Teyana as an enemy. She came for her as a witness. In a chilling live stream that has since been archived across every corner of the dark web, Jaguar looked directly into the lens and delivered a message that changed the narrative forever. She said, "Teyana Taylor is not just some singer. That woman has seen things. She was there." That one statement acted like a match dropped into a pool of gasoline. Jaguar began naming specific locations: a hotel in Atlanta, a private estate in Brentwood, California. She implied that Teyana wasn't just a bystander, but someone who had been present in the rooms where the real deals are made, the rooms where careers are traded for compliance. Suddenly, every cryptic post Teyana had ever made over the last 5 years started to look like a distress signal. Fans began scouring old interviews, looking for the cracks in her composure. They found that 2020 Breakfast Club interview where Teyana sat in a heavy silence for a long time when asked about her label issues. She had said back then, "Some things I can't speak on, but one day y'all will understand why I had to step away." At the time, we thought she was talking about royalties. Now, the world thinks she was talking about her soul. The narrative of Teyana Taylor's retirement in 2020 is being completely reanalyzed under this new, darker lens. Remember her wording? She didn't just say she was tired of the music business. She said, "I'm tired of being used, misunderstood, and being overlooked. I'm not for sale. I never was." That phrase, "not for sale," hits different in 2026. In an industry that often treats artists like property, Teyana's refusal to be sold implies that there was a price tag she wasn't willing to accept. Jaguar Wright claims that this price involves more than just points on a record. It involves participating in the shadow side of Hollywood, the parties, the rituals, and the unspoken agreements that keep the powerful in power. Jaguar's allegations suggest a pattern that is as old as the hills. Talent gets you in the door, but cooperation keeps you in the room. She claims that certain artists are pushed to the forefront not because they are the best, but because they agreed to the terms, the unspeakable ones that come with awards and access. According to Jaguar, Teyana Taylor was a rebel who saw the inner workings of this system and chose to walk away rather than become a puppet. But walking away doesn't mean you're free. It means you become a liability. Jaguar implies that the blackballing Teyana experienced, the lack of promotion, the canceled tours, wasn't mismanagement. It was punishment. It was a warning to her and anyone else watching. If you don't play the game, we will make sure the world forgets your name. This brings us to the most haunting part of the story, the 2018 Brentwood party. Jaguar keeps circling back to this specific event. She doesn't give every detail, but she implies it was a turning point, a night where the masks quite literally came off. She suggests Teyana saw something she wasn't supposed to see, and ever since then, she's been looking over her shoulder. This isn't just Jaguar's word against the world anymore, either. Since that live stream, the internet has become a digital crime scene. People are digging up old behind-the-scenes footage where Teyana looks visibly uncomfortable, being ushered away by handlers the second a fan asks a question that hits too close to home. There's a viral clip of her backstage where her eyes look frantic, nodding nervously as a man in a suit whispers something into her ear. Commenters are convinced that was a handler, reminding her of her NDA. And let's talk about that NDA. In the music industry, non-disclosure agreements are as common as water, but Jaguar claims Teyana's paperwork is different. She suggests there are documents tied to missing footage from a tour stop in Paris and security guards who were fired and then seemingly vanished from the face of the earth. Why would a singer need that level of secrecy? If it's just music, what is there to hide? The deeper the fans dig, the more they find a trail of people who tried to speak up for Teyana and were immediately hit with defamation lawsuits. One former friend of hers tried to post a video titled "The Truth About Good Music" last year, and it was scrubbed from the internet before it even finished uploading. That kind of speed only comes when you have a legal team with unlimited resources. Now, Teyana Taylor finds herself at a crossroads. Her personal life has been under a microscope following her split from Iman Shumpert, but Jaguar is suggesting that even the divorce has ties to this industry mess. She whispers that Teyana's exit from her marriage was fueled by a desire to protect her daughters from the people her husband was keeping around. If Teyana was trying to build a wall between her children and the Hollywood machine, it makes her unbothered persona look like a heroic act of motherhood. But Jaguar Wright isn't letting her stay unbothered. By naming her directly, Jaguar has forced Teyana into the spotlight of a conversation she has spent years trying to avoid. The tension reached a breaking point when Jaguar looked into the camera and said, "If anything happens to me, just know Teyana was there that night." That is a heavy burden to place on anyone. It turns Teyana from a retired singer into a living insurance policy. Within minutes of that stream ending, #TeyanaKnows was trending globally. The digital world is now demanding answers. They want to know what happened in Room 6. They want to know why the Room 6 reference makes industry insiders go silent. They want to know if the woman who gave us some of the most soulful music of the decade is currently being held hostage by her own memories. Teyana's reaction to all of this has been one of pure, unadulterated fury. She didn't just snap, she erupted. But it wasn't a denial. That's the detail that has everyone terrified. She didn't say Jaguar was lying. She said, "I've been quiet too long. Y'all don't know what I've sacrificed." When an artist says they've sacrificed things in this context, they aren't talking about sleep or time in the studio. They're talking about the things they had to give up to keep their peace and their lives. The industry is currently holding its breath, waiting to see if Teyana Taylor will finally break the ultimate rule of Hollywood: never tell the truth. Because if she speaks, she won't just be taking down a label, she'll be dismantling a system that has been in place for decades. And the system, as Jaguar reminds us, does not go down without a fight. The tension didn't just simmer after those first allegations. It reached a boiling point that threatened to take down the entire digital infrastructure of Hollywood. If Part 1 was about the whispers, Part 2 is about the explosion. It started with a second, far more chaotic livestream from Jaguar Wright. This time, she wasn't just dropping hints, she was dropping coordinates. She looked into the camera, her eyes cold and steady, and uttered two words that would haunt the comment sections of every gossip blog for months. Room 6. Jaguar claimed that the Brentwood party wasn't just a gathering of the elite, it was a structured event with layers of access, and Teyana Taylor had accidentally breached the final layer. She said they made her choose right then and there. Keep quiet and keep your career, or speak up and watch us bury everything you've ever loved. Jaguar's voice dropped to a whisper as she said, "They don't want nice, they want obedience." The chat went absolutely feral. People were begging for names, but Jaguar was playing a much more dangerous game. She was providing just enough information for the internet detectives to do the rest of the work. And boy, did they work. Within hours, #Room6 was trending worldwide. This wasn't just fans talking anymore. The blue check started coming out of the woodwork. A former BET producer, someone who has been in the trenches for years, tweeted out that Jaguar wasn't lying and that the Teyana stuff had been an open secret in the production trucks for a long time. They said people didn't want to believe it because Teyana was so beloved, but the sabotage was real. Then a prominent music journalist added fuel to the fire, admitting they always wondered why the industry didn't back Teyana harder, despite her undeniable genius. Suddenly, the narrative of mismanagement was being replaced by a much more sinister story of containment. But the real seismic shift happened when a mysterious, newly created account with 0 followers posted a screen recording of what appeared to be raw security camera footage. The clip was only 45 seconds long, grainy and filtered in a strange red hue, but the setting was unmistakable. A lavish home interior that matched the descriptions of the Brentwood estate. You could see guests in the background wearing elaborate masks, soft music playing, and a woman standing near a hallway who matched Teyana Taylor's silhouette perfectly. She wasn't drinking, she wasn't laughing. She was standing alone, looking like she wanted to crawl out of her own skin. In the final 10 seconds, a man in a hooded robe approached her and whispered something so close to her ear that she physically recoiled. The video cut to black just as she stepped away. The caption on the post was a chilling question. "You weren't supposed to remember this, were you?" The video was scrubbed from the internet in less than 30 minutes, but by then it had already been downloaded and re-uploaded to 1,000 different mirror sites. Teyana's team remained silent, which only made the public more desperate for a response. That's when Teyana finally snapped. Late that night, she went live on Instagram, and it was the furthest thing from a polished celebrity PR move. She was in a dark room, no makeup, her hair tied back, and you could see her hands trembling as she held the phone. She told the hundreds of thousands of people watching that she had been quiet too long to protect things that didn't deserve her protection. She said, her voice cracking, "I walked away for a reason. I needed to breathe. And now you want to use my name for your circus?" She didn't deny the party. She didn't deny Room 6. She just warned everyone not to play with her name because she wasn't the one. The live cut out abruptly, leaving a heavy, terrifying silence in its wake. The internet turned into a digital courtroom. Reddit threads titled "The Teyana Files" began dissecting her entire discography and every tour date she had ever performed. They found a specific night in Brooklyn, 2019, where a venue was changed at the last minute, and the entire backstage area was placed under an emergency security lockdown. An anonymous industry caterer emailed a blind gossip site claiming that the Room 6 reference was 100% real. They explained that at these high-level events, celebrities aren't allowed to bring their own security or staff. They're told it's for privacy, but the caterer said it's really so there are no outside witnesses. They claimed they saw Teyana leave that room looking pale, refusing to eat, and that's when her career trajectory took that strange downward turn. Then, the big names started reacting, and that's when we knew this was bigger than just one artist. Cardi B went on her own live stream, looking visibly shaken. She didn't name Teyana directly, but she talked about how some industry parties feel like a trap the moment you walk through the door. She looked nervously off camera multiple times, as if checking to see who was listening, before ending the stream without warning. Janelle Monáe posted a cryptic tweet saying, "Not everyone makes it out. If you see someone trying, help them." Doja Cat followed up with a lock emoji. It felt like a silent rebellion was forming among the women of the industry, all of them acknowledging a shadow they had all lived under. But just as the movement was gaining steam, a burner account dropped a screenshot of a private group chat, allegedly between 3 Hollywood power players. The message was a direct threat. She was supposed to keep her mouth shut. Jaguar gave her a warning. Next time it'll be a lesson. The screenshot included a mention of pulling the footage from Brooklyn to shut Teyana down. This implies that the industry doesn't just have witnesses. They have leverage. They have receipts designed to destroy the very people they've already victimized. The fear became palpable. Teyana's mother, Nikki Taylor, finally broke her silence in a distressed Instagram story, pleading for people to stop tearing her daughter apart for not playing the game. It was a heartbreaking confirmation that the game was real, and the stakes were higher than anyone realized. The most terrifying moment of this entire week came when Jaguar Wright resurfaced for her 3rd live stream. She didn't look triumphant. She looked exhausted. She played a 12-second audio clip of a woman's voice, nervous, whispering, saying she didn't know what she was walking into and that she was told if she didn't show up, she'd never work again. Fans compared the cadence to Teyana's voice and found a near-perfect match. Jaguar stared into the camera and said, "You hearing this? They think you're scared." But she wasn't just talking to Teyana anymore. She was talking to the system. She hinted that Room 6 wasn't just about Hollywood drama. It was about a larger network of control involving names that don't just own labels, they own the courts and the media. As part comes to a close, Teyana Taylor has vanished from the public eye again. No posts, no sightings, just a black and white photo of her Harlem neighborhood with the caption, "The truth don't sleep, neither do they." The digital world is holding its breath. Is Teyana preparing to burn the house down, or is the house currently closing in on her? The mystery of Room 6 has moved from a conspiracy theory to a cultural phenomenon, and everyone is waiting for the final piece of the puzzle to drop. But in Hollywood, the final piece usually comes with a price tag that most people aren't willing to pay. The air in the industry didn't just turn cold, it turned clinical. After the explosion of the Room 6 rumors and those haunting audio clips, the world expected Teyana Taylor to either go into hiding or come out swinging with a legal team. But what happened instead was something far more disturbing. It started with an unmarked envelope delivered to a small, independent investigative blog, the kind of site that operates on the fringes of the web where the big PR machines can't easily reach. Inside was a single USB drive. No letter, no demands, just a file labeled Witness. When the bloggers pressed play, they didn't hear a song or a promotional clip. They heard Teyana Taylor's voice, but she wasn't singing. She was pleading. The recording was scratchy, distorted, and clearly caught on a hidden device. On the tape, you can hear her say, "They told me if I speak, they'll bury me. But I can't carry this anymore. I've seen people disappear." The audio only lasted about 2 minutes, but in those 120 seconds, the foundation of Hollywood's elite circles began to crack. She spoke about Room 6, not as a place, but as a protocol. She hinted that what she saw in Brentwood and Brooklyn involved names that aren't just famous. They are untouchable. We're talking about people who own the media outlets, the streaming platforms, and the legal systems that govern them. But here is where it gets truly terrifying. Less than 10 minutes after that blog posted the clip, their entire server was wiped. Not just the article, the entire domain vanished. Visitors were met with a blank screen and a domain no longer active message. The internet tried to archive it, but every re-upload on TikTok, X, and YouTube was flagged and removed within seconds for national security or community guideline violations. When was the last time a celebrity T story was flagged for national security? That was the moment the public realized this wasn't just gossip. This was a cover-up. The digital world went into a state of absolute paranoia. Reddit threads were being locked by moderators who claimed they were receiving direct legal threats from high-level agencies. A blind item then appeared on the famous gossip site Du Mois, claiming that an R&B powerhouse was currently under supervision after attempting to release unauthorized content that threatened global elite names. The whispers started turning into a single terrifying question: is Teyana Taylor safe? Then, as if on cue, a video appeared on Teyana's verified Instagram. On the surface, it looked like a standard celebrity update. She was sitting on a sunny rooftop, sipping tea, smiling, and the caption read, "All is well, stay blessed." But her fans aren't average consumers. They are detectives. Within minutes, the video was being picked up and analyzed by AI experts and digital forensic fans. They noticed the lighting on her face didn't match the background. They pointed out that her lip movements were slightly out of sync with her speech. Her eyes, usually so full of fire and life, looked dull, almost vacant. The consensus in the comments was immediate and unanimous. This is AI, this isn't her. Or worse, she's being told what to say. While the internet was debating the authenticity of the rooftop video, Jaguar Wright resurfaced for what she called her final warning livestream. This one was different. She wasn't shouting, she was somber. She sat in a dimly lit room and told the 80,000 people watching that they were witnessing the erasure of an artist in real time. She said, "They don't want her to talk because she walked into the wrong room and heard the wrong conversation. They will tell you it's mental health. They'll tell you it's an accident. Don't believe them." Jaguar then dropped a bombshell about a basement incident in 2017, claiming that Teyana had been being blackmailed with footage from that night for nearly a decade. According to Jaguar, Teyana's entire retirement was actually a forced exit because she refused to let her daughters be part of the industry's recruitment cycles. The fallout spread like a virus. A former security guard for a major music mogul posted a TikTok under a burner account, claiming he was on duty the night of the Brentwood party. He said he was told to confiscate all phones, specifically because Teyana Taylor had walked into a restricted area. He claimed he saw her being ushered out by men in suits and was told to forget he ever saw her. His account was deleted within 2 hours of the post, but the damage was done. The phrase "Teyana is room 6" began appearing on billboards in downtown LA and New York, funded by anonymous donors. No brand, no logo, just white text on a black background. It felt like a scene out of a dystopian movie. Even the heavy hitters in the industry were starting to look over their shoulders. Erykah Badu posted a cryptic message about protecting your soul from the industry's twisted side. Solange Knowles posted a black screen with 3 words, "I see you." It felt like a silent SOS was being sent out across the entire R&B community. The fear wasn't just about losing a career anymore. It was about the reality that in Hollywood, when you become a liability to the system, you don't just get canceled, you get rewritten. As we sit here in 2026, the status of Teyana Taylor remains a mystery. Some say she's in a high-stakes legal battle to break her NDAs and finally release a tell-all memoir. Others believe she has been successfully silenced, moved into a quiet life where she will never speak on the industry again. But Jaguar Wright insists that the truth don't sleep. She claims there is a second voice memo, one that contains actual names of the people in room 6, and that it's set to auto-release if anything happens to her or Teyana. This story has become a cautionary tale for the digital age. It shows us that talent is a currency, but silence is the tax. Teyana Taylor, the girl from Harlem, who was too talented to ignore and too real to control, has become the face of a resistance that most people are too afraid to join. Whether she ever speaks again or not, the Room 6 mystery has permanently changed how we look at the glitz and glamour of the red carpet. We now know that behind every closed door, there's a story. And behind every silent artist, there's a secret that could burn the whole house down. The only question left is, when the matches are finally struck, who will be left standing in the ashes? This situation is beyond chilling, and it's a reminder that the glitz and glamour we see on the red carpet often hides a much darker reality. But now, the most important part of this story is you. We are watching the digital archives get scrubbed in real time, and your engagement is the only thing keeping this narrative alive. I want to hear your theories in the comments. Do you think that rooftop video was actually Teyana? Or are we looking at the industry's latest attempt at an AI cover-up? And what about Room 6? Is it a physical place, or is it a code for something much more sinister? The machine wants us to move on to the next headline, but we aren't letting this go. If you stand with Teyana and believe the truth should finally go nuclear, drop a truth emoji in the comments right now. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on. We are monitoring the burner accounts and the leaked drives 24/7 to bring you the updates they're trying to erase. Don't let the silence win. Stay loud, stay alert, and we'll see you in the next one when the next receipt drops.